are here for episode 3 in my series on the 1998 home run chase in Major League Baseball. We left off at the Home Run Derby, and everyone was expecting this to be one of the most epic showdowns in Derby history between Mark McGwire, Sammy Sosa, and Ken Griffey Jr. If anything from the 1998 baseball season can be considered a buzzkill, it was the Home Run Derby. Sammy Sosa had a little bit of an injury, so for precautionary reasons, he didn't participate. Whatever. Mark McGwire just didn't bring it that day for whatever reason. He didn't have it. So he just flat out didn't place. So it was up to Griffey to provide the heroics, which he did, and he won what was a good home run derby, but it was less spectacular than everyone was hoping for. Well, after the home run derby and the all-star break, the pace definitely slowed down a little bit. Whether it was just the heat of the summer or whatever, the pace slowed down a lot. And by the end of July, Mark McGwire led the way, but he only had 45. I say only 45 because he'd only hit 8 home runs. Ken Griffey Jr. began to fade seriously after that. He was at 41 home runs, and Sammy Sosa had gone from 33 home runs to 42. He only had 9. So they're still on pace to reach the record, but the pace is slowing. So everyone's kind of curious to see if it was just a fluky thing, if the pace is going to pick back up or what. But one record did fall for McGwire. That was the single-season home run record for the franchise, the St. Louis Cardinals. Johnny Mize hit 43 home runs in 1940. But since then, nobody had matched him. In 58 years of St. Louis Cardinals baseball, 43 home runs had stood as the record. Well, that fell. As August began, the pace slowed even more. McGwire entered the month with 45 home runs, Sosa with 42. And they met in a series at Wrigley Field. And everyone was still excited because they were still on pace to be right there for the record. Well, that was nearly 3 weeks into August, but McGwire had only hit 2 home runs in the month so far, and Sammy Sosa had only hit 5 home runs. They were tied at 47. Well, in the second game of their series at Wrigley Field, Sammy Sosa hits a home run, his 48th, and for the first time since the very early parts of the season, Mark McGwire's not your home run leader. Well, he claimed in interviews that he wasn't motivated by external factors, such as someone passing him or tying him or whatever in the home run race. I don't know if I believe that. I kind of feel like he was just being polite. And the reason I say that is because Sammy Sosa hit that home run early in the second game of the series. Well, McGwire hit 2 more home runs before that game ended, and he had the lead for himself again, 49-48. And it was at this point, after this series, that people really began to take this record and this chase really seriously, like it seemed inevitable almost, and the excitement around baseball, it had been there, but it went to a new level. And what I point to as visual evidence is after that Cubs series, the Cardinals went to play the Mets in New York. Well, Shea Stadium was full. That was odd at the time. Even though they're in New York, Shea Stadium was not that often sold out for Mets baseball. But when the Cardinals came to town, you better believe that place was jam-packed. And when McGwire hit home runs 50 and 51, you thought it was at Busch Stadium. New Yorkers were cheering as loudly as if a Mets player would have hit a home run. And McGwire achieved a little bit more history with his 50th home run there. he became the first player in Major League history to hit 50 home runs in 3 consecutive seasons. He was one of 2 players who'd only done it in back-to-back seasons. Only him and Babe Ruth had done it 2 years in a row. But the Babe never did it 3 years in a row, so McGwire was the first one ever to do that. Well, through the rest of August, McGwire's pace picked back up, and that ended up leaving him with 55 home runs when he had 2 games left in a series in Miami. More evidence of just how excited fans across the country were for this home run chase. Pro Player Stadium, Joe Robbie Stadium, whatever it was called at the time, the stadium that the Marlins and Dolphins used to share, that place was sold out or close to it. Most Marlins games are friends and family night every night, but not then. That place had fans everywhere, and they weren't disappointed. In the final 2 games of that series, McGwire hit 2 home runs in each game. And that series was the first time that we saw curtain calls on the road. And that was something for a regular season game for someone who wasn't retiring or, something of that nature. That was unheard of. It's unheard of now. But from that point until the rest of the season, anytime McGwire would hit a home run on the road, the fans were so excited they wanted a curtain call. And the same thing happened to Sammy Sosa. He was still a few home runs behind, but he'd go to Three River Stadium in Pittsburgh, hit a home run. There's video of the Pirates mascot, that bird-looking thing, whatever he was, and he is just bowing to Sosa as he's running the bases, and the Pittsburgh fans are calling for a curtain call. It was just surreal. Anyway, at this point, McGwire had 59 home runs, and the schedule worked out perfectly because he was going back to St. Louis. I'm going to talk about the very end of the season and the true history-making moments of this season in my next episode. So go ahead, subscribe to my channel, like my video, leave some comments. We'll see you in episode 4.